All right, so I just got done at Rolling Green, fired a nice smooth 80, and I'm getting ready to leave, and I look across from me, and it's Chris Crawford, uh, waiting out a playoff. He played a little bit better than me. He graciously decided to hop in my car, which smells like shit, and we have the AC off because we don't want to ruin the sound here. So he's really being a good guy here. Chris, how'd you go out there today?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I thought I played okay today. For the most part, I didn't really get anything going until the very, very end. I finished a eagle 17 and then birdied 18 to get to 1 under. So looks like it's going to be a playoff, and just trying to kill some time hanging out.
It looked like to me you might get in though. It's 6, right? You're preparing
It's
yourself.
6. Yeah, right now if there's a couple guys that are at 1, so it would be a playoff right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It's tough out
Yeah,
there.
it's
I thought it
definitely
was
getting
tough.
tough.
I mean, I was chopping it up. That finish is awesome. The
Thanks.
eagle birdie after all day when we just not making anything.
I hadn't made a birdie before that, so it was just 2 bogeys before that. This place you just have to be so defensive with putting. It's just there's so many. All the slopes are so severe. I felt like I hit it okay, had a few chances, but every time I felt like I had a chance, it was just I was a little too cautious. It was kind of maybe just lagging it up a little bit too much, and it's tough to make them.
Yeah, it's like a mindset thing. Once you get in that mindset early on, it's hard to flick it on mid-round and be like, okay, I'm going to start gunning them.
It is, especially because if you start doing that out here, you could like putt balls off the green, or you end up having 15 footers with like 10 feet coming back just really easily, really quickly.
Yeah, I thought you went off what time?
8.
Oh, you went off in the morning. You've been hanging out. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if anything, the course had to have gotten harder.
I would have to think so.
There was a few greens on the back 9 that were legitimately purple. I don't know if they were when you played them, but
no, they weren't purple.
It was getting. I mean, it was getting really tough out there. So I like your chances, but hopefully, worst case, you get in the playoff. And
we'll see.
I'm
trying to be ready to play a little bit more golf here.
So how many locals have you been through now?
I've missed at sectionals twice. And gotten 5. I've been through 5 locals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of what, like 7 years or something? Or?
I honestly don't. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, but and you've gotten to 2 U.S. Opens.
3.
3 U.S. Opens. You've gotten 3 U.S. Opens.
Yeah.
Wow. Which one?
Oakmont, Erin Hills the following year, and then Torrey Pines in 21.
That's incredible. Well, out of those 3, what was the most difficult? Would you say?
I think Oakmont's
Oakmont.
Yeah. I think Oakmont's the hardest golf course I've ever played. And but that was obviously a great one. It was the first one I got to play in, and being in the home state was pretty fun.
It's cool. You probably had a bunch of guys out there, I'm sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Great. Is you playing professionally still, or
I'm still playing on PGA Tour Latin America.
Oh, you're on Latin now. Cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
So I just got back. I'm from Ben Salem here, but I was just in. We were in Lima, Peru, and Ecuador the last 2 weeks. So I flew from Quito, Ecuador to Philly. Got in on Monday, and then just stay in the week just to play this mostly. Just hang out for a week.
How was that tour? I mean, I heard the travel can be tough there, right?
The travel was pretty tough. I enjoy it. I think you have to kind of embrace the fact that it's, we're all a little bit crazy sometimes, maybe being down there, and some of the circumstances are tough, but the tour itself is great. I mean, the events are awesome. They do a really nice job, and I've enjoyed it the last couple of years. I think it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, I was down there in the Dominican one time, and I saw a course that you guys played there, and I couldn't believe they hosted anything legitimately there. I mean, the place was just like...
We haven't played the Dominican course the last 2 years, so I actually haven't played it.
Okay.
But I would kind of wish we still went there. I would have thought it would be decent.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it was Santo Domingo. I forget the exact town, but it was really bad. I don't know if they gear it up for you guys, but... Yeah, I've heard that tour is a grind. I've talked to a couple guys who've played on it, and
the travel.
You said you got to. It's a once in a lifetime. You're not going to do it for 10 years, obviously, right? It's one of those things you just embrace for a couple years and see where it takes you.
Hopefully, you try to move on. Hopefully, you try to move up to Corn Ferry. But the travel's it's pretty difficult. I mean, the long flights. We went to Argentina 4 times this year, so Argentina's a long trip. Even the ones that are, Lima wasn't too bad. Ecuador's not too bad. They're like, from Florida, where I'm living most of the time now, they're like 4 or 5 hour flights, which aren't too bad. If you're going to Buenos Aires or Santiago, Chile, it's like 9-10 hours.
And you have to foot the bill on all travel, or does PTA
Yeah.
help? They don't help. Do they have like any corporate discounts for you?
Unfortunately, no, not really.
Jesus, that can't be cheap
So it's
either.
all
Yeah,
on
it's
me.
not. It's like I said, no one's going to do it forever. It's not a super profitable
No.
tour. It's
No,
like
no,
it's a
definitely
stepping
not.
stone, and
You're
that's
only-
it, right?
Yeah, you have to play some really good golf to make some money. You got to be finishing pretty high up on the points list at the end of the year to really make any kind of money at all.
How have you been playing down there?
I've actually had a decent season so far this year. I'm like 13th on the points right now. I've played okay. I think my best finish was in Brazil.
Okay.
I finished third. That was about a month ago. And and we got 4 more. We're eight down and 4 more.
8 down. And
Yeah.
how's that work? Then you go to what? There's a tour finals and then
Yeah, well, I'm including the tour championship so there's 11 events plus a tour championship
Okay.
that the top 60 on the points get into, and that's the end of June. So it's two in Colombia and 2 in Mexico
Nice.
coming up.
And then if you come in then you go
You
to
need to finish in the top 5.
top 5,
now.
and you get like
Top
conditional
5.
Corn Ferry, or
Yeah, so that's where it's a little complicated. Like the points winner gets full Corn Ferry status the following year. 2 through 5 get conditional and get exempt to final stage of Q school, and then 6 through 25 get to second stage of Q school.
Wow. So yeah, that's top. You got to play really well, and I'm sure all those guys are.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, if you're going to finish in the top 5, you most likely have to win, or you can just, you have to have a really good season, like a bunch of top 5s are going to win once or twice.
You're better off being the guy that wins and misses a cut versus the guy that
for
finishes
sure.
top. I mean,
for
any competitive golf now, that's kind of the way to do it,
for
right?
the points and everything. If you can, it's all about making your good weeks like really count.
Yeah.
So if the good weeks are really good, you can afford a couple not so good weeks and it won't matter.
Right.
But those good weeks,
You got to
matter.
win. When
You
you're
gotta
on,
be
you
winning,
got
you gotta be close to
to close it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to Rolling Green, 17. What did you have in there? Because I actually hit a good drive there. I want to see how far past you were made there.
I didn't hit a great one off that tee, so I'm sure I had like 245 in.
Oh wow!
I hit,
Actually,
like-
I was actually a little
yeah,
closer than
I
you. That's
kinda,
hard to
like-
believe. I was bunting the ball around today. Jesus.
I hit like a little spinny one down the right. It was fine. It was in the fairway.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, I pretty much knew. I mean, I was 2 over. I knew that wasn't going to do it. So I know I thought maybe birdie,
Mhm.
maybe get to even, maybe have a shot. As it turns out, it's going to look, it's going to take one most likely. But I hit a good 3. It was like between 3 iron and 3 wood, but the wind wasn't quite hurting as much. So I just hit 3 iron and hit it really a good one that kind of ran on the front, probably 30 feet pin high right, and made it. So that was.
Is it
That
something
was nice.
about these U.S. Open? Like, do you just like really like from a mental standpoint? Do you just come into this and you're like, not to disrespect anybody else in the field, but clearly you've had so much success. Not many of these guys at locals have played in U.S. Opens. Do you come here and you're just like, look, I'm the guy. I'm the best player, one of the best players in the field, and does that confidence kind of carry you at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that I've had some success doing it definitely helps my confidence when I come here. But if there was like some secret, or if I knew it and I could bottle it and use it more often, I wish I could. I wish I could take it and play like I have in some of the sectionals in some of the other events I play. But I don't know. I always enjoy these events. I enjoy the local and the sectional, and I look forward to it every year. And this year we got a good venue. Once I saw Rolling Green was on the schedule, it's like, okay, it's kind of a no-brainer. It works for me. I knew I'd have a chance to come home this week, and it seemed like a good spot.
In my opinion, I always say, and it could be a hot take, but I think Marion's our best course in the area for a U.S. Open. But I really think as a backup course, like I really think this course, if you tip it out and firm it up, like it could hold its own against really anybody. I think so. I mean,
some of the greens, the way they are. I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Like you said, no matter how good, if you grow the rough up here, I mean, you can't. I mean, some of those elevated greens when you're chopping 7 irons up to it's almost laughable. I mean,
you could make it really tough. I played the Form Tour, which was that one-off Canadian tour.
Right, yeah.
We had the event out here a couple years ago in like August or September of 21, and I played, and they got the rough going pretty good for that.
The scores were high in that, weren't they?
Yeah, it played pretty hard. Yeah, I mean, you get the rough going, because then hitting fairways was super important, but then it was also, we got a big storm that week, so the greens were wet.
Oh,
the
so
greens
were
are
soft. Okay.
And these greens, when they're soft, are like just as hard as when they're firm.
Because you can spin them right off the front and go right down the hill 100 yards. You're landing someone's divot, and you're making a double or triple from the center of the fairway.
You're chipping 9 irons from like 110, 115, not have any spin on the ball
to
take it back, because, I don't know how many holes the ball will come back. 30, 40 yards, but it feels like half of them.
I was gonna say
out
at
there if
least
you're not
6 or
careful.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And today it's hard because when they get firm, obviously you don't want to be short and have them come down, but you don't want to be long's dead
Well,
too,
right,
because then
long's dead
maybe
too.
your
That's-
third will come back
yeah,
down. So
that's
it's
why I
like,
just, I mean, like 15 is the perfect example, right? How hard that second shot is.
Oh
on the
my
15.
God.
You hit it and you just hope that it stays up there, and then you hope you're not long, because if you're long, you might chip it all the way down the front too.
yeah, I actually birdied that, believe it
That's
or not.
a great birdie.
I was completely chopping the place up, and I wrote out I've birdied 15, 16, 17 to
Nice.
show a little fight. And I was
Nice.
trying to break
Yeah.
80, and then just
Those are
bogeyed
some good birdies.
just bogeyed the last. But yeah, I got no business being out here. It was just fun playing and checking out the course. But what did you do on 18?
18, I hit a really good drive just over the bunkers. It ran through the fairway a little bit into the first cut, and I had like 150.
Oh, that's all you had in there.
But
Jesus,
it was downwind a little bit, and I knew the pin was back, so I hit pitching wedge I hit a good one. I hit it to like 5 feet below
you
the hole.
stuffed it, yeah.
So didn't have to make a long putt, because that pin, if the ball ended up where I was literally, it was a dead straight putt. But if you would end up like pin high left or behind it, it would have been pretty tricky.
Yeah, you would have been defensive once
Right.
again. And the problem I found today is when the greens are fast like this, and they have PO on them, and they had some aeration
some
marks,
aeration
you have
marks,
to
yeah.
tap it. And when you do that,
I
you're
know.
bringing in the wiggle, and the
absolutely.
downhillers are just so hard to keep on line.
Absolutely, for sure. I don't know if there is an answer. Like, if you really want to make a bunch of putts, you had to hit them a little bit harder. Like the one on 17 that I made, I probably hit it a little too hard, honestly.
Because you had a gun to your head.
Because I like had to make it.
Right.
But some of the other ones, you just don't want to, especially early in the round, you just don't want to do that out here.
Yeah, now you got to just try to settle into the round, and I don't know, anything else you on your mind? What are you thinking? If I'm putting money on it, I think you're in.
I've been done for a while now.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we only played 17 holes. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh, that's true too.
that's
yeah.
the other thing. It was weird.
A little shorter.
A little shorter.
Yeah.
10 minutes shorter, 15 minutes shorter. And I left. I got lunch, and I didn't have self-service at where I was at lunch, so I couldn't even check the board. And then I've been coming back, and I'm just sitting here. And then once it looks like maybe there's going to be a playoff, I'll have to just go warm up and.
Well, you can't.
Try to
Maybe
get used to
they'll
it.
let you guys hit drivers if there's only 2 or 3 of you guys.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I know that's pretty tough.
I guess you would go to 1.
I assume they'll just go down 1.
Yeah.
1, 2,
2, 3. Yeah.
Probably just play it
Probably
out.
would end on. You think it would? I don't know. It depends how many guys.
It depends. It could be a big playoff.
if
If it ends up being at 1, it could be. You could end up with like 6 guys.
If
for
it's 5
4
or
5
6 for
spots or
1,
something.
you have to be thinking like birdie. Any of your other ones did you get in a playoff or
I did.
sectionals or locals?
In locals, I got through playoffs 2 other times. Actually, when I got through both times, I got through in a playoff at York. That was, I think, 17, Country Club of York, and then I got through a playoff. I played locals 1 year in Alabama and got through in a playoff there. That was a
Crazy
couple
how
years
fine
ago.
the line is, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like you're one shot away from not
like-
even getting the sectionals, and then you're
Right.
teeing up in the U.S. Open a month
Right.
later.
It happens
and
fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, I don't want to
So-
sweat you out in here anymore. I
No,
know it's
it's all
hot,
good.
and
No, yeah.
no, I really appreciate you coming in. This is
Thank
awesome.
you.
This is the
Yeah,
first time
I'm
I've
glad
ever
it worked out.
first time I've ever done this. I thought it was you. I remember.
Yeah.
I played college golf. When I say played, like barely, but against we used to play you guys at Drexel.
Where'd you
so
go?
I was at Ryder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Ryder's head coach Jason Barry pretty well.
We were when I was there. I mean, we were bad. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like the bad news bears. Yeah, I was in the 2-hole. That's never a good sign. So,
seems
but I
like
remember
the
you guys. No, they're good now.
Yeah, I was gonna
no,
say, the
Jay's done a
programs were doing great.
Jay's done a fantastic
great.
job. Yeah, Jay's a great guy. He's really turned that place. He took it from it was bad. It was in
Okay.
bad shape, and he's
Okay.
turned it around in a few years. But you guys are obviously always good, and yourself. And I always tell the one story about I had like my biggest meltdown ever. It was at remember that Northampton club?
Yeah, I remember Northampton.
Yeah, I was like somehow I was like 2 over with 2 to go or something, and
Okay.
I remember like checking, and you were like 1 over, and I was like
Okay.
through the first round I was like in second, and I started just rifling balls off this tin shed on that the 9th hole dog leg right up
man.
the hill. I don't know if you remember that.
I
Probably
can't-
remember
I
that.
can't remember.
I made like a 10, and I was like, that was it. I was like, I competed for 16 holes. That was my college achievement, but. No, but I really appreciate it, man. Best of luck to you. I'm gonna start following that Latino tour a little
All
more
right.
closely.
Yeah, follow it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Appreciate it, though, dude.
Thanks.